Welcome to the StockMiner.com studios. I'm your Stockminer Brian Johnson, and wandered sideways into the end of options expiration week. Really nothing to talk about except a slow, gradual grind upwards all week long. Okay, so we're going to talk some more about this week, and I'm not going to waste a lot of time. Why? Because this week was just. There were some very good trades to be had, but it was not within the indices. For my subscribers, you know what those were. We had some really good calls. Uh, by the way, I suppose for those of you that don't subscribe, I'll tell you one of the stocks that I was watching this last week was ABC, and we caught this nice move up. Matter of fact, I even sent them out a intraday email telling them, "Hey, I think we're about to break," and sure enough, we did, and we caught this big run up here, finishing up in this area. So now it's anybody's guess where it'll go, but we got a very nice profit off of that. So, okay, FYI, for those of you that have never tried the newsletter, this is one of the extra services I offer in the newsletter, and that is I give you stock picks, my personal stock picks for the week. Give about 5 or 6 of them, something to keep your eye on when the markets aren't doing anything. Hence, i.e., that's as in this week. There's nothing going on. Now, my trade for you this week was up over 10,500, and I told you from the very get-go, be very cautious if you're going long. I wouldn't want to be holding overnight. Just be very careful. Now, it did manage to break 10,500, and it did manage to push itself up, but come on, guys, let's be real here. I mean, as we broke 10,500, it hung there for a while, and it made 10,600 by the end of the week. If I was a bull, I'd be embarrassed right now. If I was a coach, the Bulls would be running laps. Man, I'd have those guys running laps and doing push-ups and sit-ups because this is a terrible effort from the team right here. The Bulls just not going anywhere or doing anything with it right now. Now, I can't say anything about the Bears as well. It's not as though they've been, tearing it up the last few weeks. But you know what? They've just been sitting back going, yeah, okay, go ahead. Go ahead. Have your day, Bulls. Go ahead. Remember what happened over here? Yeah, baby. You just wait. So the Bulls really need to find some footing here coming into next week, or it could get very ugly for them. But for the week, what are we? We got just above the 10,500 mark and moved our way upwards. Overall, for the week, we were 10,450 to 10,600, 150-point move in a week. Are you kidding me? Come on. So when the markets aren't moving, I give my subscribers something else to watch, and that's things like extra stock picks. And I do a couple of them here for you guys. Apple was a beautiful one this week that we were watching along with FAS and FAZ. But there are other things to be watching, other picks to be watching, and those I give to my subscribers. So NASDAQ on a 60 for the week was, oh man, you want to talk about strong. This was the beast. And it usually is. On our last run up, very heavy run up, it was the NASDAQ that was kind of the last one to fall. This is why I do not like to go short the NASDAQ. This is why I like to go long the NASDAQ. It is a strong indice. The NDX 100 here in particular, look at it scream upwards. Partly due to what? RIM earnings? Yeah, how did that work out for RIM? RIM got its butt kicked today. Man. So we did see that 5 to 8% gap up. And then I said, watch what happens in the morning. Sure enough, guess what? Bulls couldn't hold it. Bears took over from the very get-go on RIM. Yikes. So what does that tell you about where things are at? You know, one of those buy the rumor, sell the news type of events happening right there. So up and over this area, big run, very extended. We'll see if that lasts into next week, but something to definitely keep your eye on. This NDX 100 has been on a tear, very, very strong. For the week, also getting up and above and closing above this area. I'm going to give the Bears a chance to get back below this line, but you know what? I was going to give the Bears a chance to get back below these moving averages last week. It didn't happen. This is showing some real strength in here. I shouldn't actually say that. This is showing some upward momentum. How about that? I don't know if I'm going to consider that strength, but it wasn't too bad. Pretty good week. You can see that the volume definitely came in a little bit more. So we'll see if the NASDAQ can help buoy the rest of the markets coming into next week. From a 60-minute. Now, SPX didn't move anywhere either this week. Pathetic move on the markets, but holding up right at this line. Everybody's waiting. It's like Heinz 57 or Heinz ketchup here, guys. anticipations making us wait to see if we're going to break this 11:30 mark. I don't know why we wouldn't. We've been up here pounding away at it for a while now. No reason to think that we couldn't break over it. However, is it going to be a fake breakout or is it going to be for real? There you go. There's something to chew on over the weekend. So beautiful inverse head and shoulders pattern happening here. Almost, once again, too pretty, as we saw over here. Here was a left shoulder, a head, and a right shoulder. Very pretty head and shoulders pattern that the whole world was talking about. And I said, just almost too pretty. And it didn't make it. So we'll see if this one actually comes to fruition. From a weekly, finishing right on that overhead line. Now the NASDAQ broke it. So can the rest of the markets follow? I don't know. Dow's been a real laggard lately. It just is not following very quickly. Like I said, is not uncommon, but we'll see if it can actually catch it up. VIX up for the day. The markets were up for the day. There's certainly a divergence happening within here, and it's anybody's guess where this is going to go. But this isn't uncommon to see at the end of an options expiration week as people kind of roll over their contracts. By the way, if you're a futures follower, you need to get away from the U contract and onto the Z contract if you don't know that already. The Z contract is now in effect. The U contract is a September contract. It's now expired. So you'll want to make that change for sure over the weekend. So if you come back on Sunday and you can't figure out why the futures aren't going anywhere, you'll know why. All right, from a weekly standpoint, here's the VIX, just still fluttering around in no man's land. Apple was down $1.20 today, but whatever. Look at that huge run up yesterday. Someone told me it was a short squeeze on Apple. Other people told me it was because of the news that they're releasing stuff. I gotta be honest, I'm not convinced it's either of those. I don't know. There might be something more going on in Apple, and you and I just don't know what that is quite yet. So I'm still curious to see if more news comes out on Apple here over the next week or two. And then we all go, oh, okay, now it makes sense. So we'll see if that news comes out. Regardless, listen, Apple having a fantastic run. Look at this, 235 all the way up to 275. I gave you levels all the way up and along here, giving you great opportunities to make money. Please tell me that some of you actually followed some of this advice here, and when these levels broke, you took some of those trades. Awesome opportunity to make money in Apple, even if you traded it on an intraday basis. Notice how we kind of got away in the last week from the gaps to the upside and started moving up and through these overhead resistance areas, which is precisely what you like to see from a day trader's perspective. Apple finishing right on this overhead resistance. Really, 280 is the bigger number for me to watch in Apple. We'll see if that'll hold, but showing 3 weeks of pretty good strength here. Let's go back to Apple for just a second. You can see this week, good volume coming in, so not a bad start for Apple. Fast going nowhere. Nowhere. Over the last day. So FAZ, of course, doing the same thing. Markets going nowhere today. FAS following this. Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Since Monday, we went once again nowhere. Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4. This was 5. A whole week worth of nowhere. I think last week was the abbreviated week, so overall we opened here and closed here for the week. We opened here and closed here for the week. We're not going anywhere in these stocks right now, or in these ETFs. You've got to be so careful. Continue to day trade these things. Don't get wrapped up in it. These things are going nowhere. I would turn your attention away from these for the time being. Now, they are coiling up for a big move, but look, you're probably going to get 1 or 2 days of actual movement, and then it's going to go into stall mode. So be very careful with these. Continue to stick with the day trading. Stay away from the swing trading of these particular ETFs. Just not worth it. FAZ doing the same thing. Look at this flat line. From the 13th to today, where have we gone? Yeah, nowhere. It's just a flat line of candles. No trading in there whatsoever. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here's our week encapsulated right down here. Now, maybe this turns into what would be considered maybe an island bottom if we get a big gap up to start Monday. Now, wouldn't that be cool? You don't see those very often. Those are pretty powerful. But it's anybody's guess. I'm just throwing stuff out there at this point, guys. So let's reevaluate over the weekend and see what we're going to do. But right now, guys, stick with those intraday trades on your ETFs. These things are going nowhere right now. We're still waiting for breaks below here and above here. We'll talk more about that this weekend, see if there's any direction given to us as we enter next week's trading. We're about halfway through September already, so we'll see if anything starts to move. But as it is right now, bulls are still in control. Yeah, I know, we're not going anywhere, but we are slowly grinding our way up. Bulls are in control. Only price pays. See, I don't care about volume right now. None of that. Only price pays, and price is up. So we'll continue to watch that. I'll be back with you again on Sunday afternoon. See you then. Bye.